Hey guys, let's get more news about Dallas, but first, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave a like. Cowboys get more disappointing news as key player bolts. The Dallas Cowboys lost longtime backup quarterback Cooper Rush to the Baltimore Ravens earlier this week, with the official announcement dropping on Tuesday, March 18. While losing a backup quarterback might not seem like a big deal, Rush was an integral part of the Cowboys' chemistry, and losing him hurts. Now, Jerry Jones and the Cowboys are bracing to lose another longtime player, and this one was tight with star wide receiver CeeDee Lamb. On Friday, March 21, NFL insider and expert Mike Garafolo took to X to report that Cowboys wide receiver Brandon Cooks is heading back to New Orleans. A reunion in New Orleans, 11-year veteran Brandon Cooks is headed back to the #Saints, sources tell the insiders, he said. Cooks returns to the franchise that drafted him in the first round in 2014. This one is rough, especially since Cooks had a great thing going with Lamb. But the move isn't unexpected. As RJ Ochoa from Blogging the Boys explains in a Friday, March 21 feature, Lamb has emerged as one of the NFL's best wide receivers, and he's gotten to this superstar status with Cooks as the Robin to his Batman. While being one of the best wideouts in the league obviously says how good you are, every team needs a number of options to work in the passing game, Ochoa added. The Cowboys traded for Cooks 2 years ago and he was a legitimate threat in 2023, but this past season was broken for the team in a number of ways. He continued that it felt doubtful that he would return to Dallas, and now we officially know that he won't. He is returning to somewhere, but it is to the New Orleans Saints, with new head coach Kellen Moore. It's really full circle for Cooks, who, as previously mentioned, was first drafted by New Orleans in 2014. Since then, he has played with several NFL teams, his latest, of course, being the Cowboys from 2023 to 2024. He had an exceptionally stellar season in 2023, appearing in 16 games and snagging 54 receptions for 657 yards and 8 touchdowns. For the 2024 season, Cooks appeared in 10 games and had 26 receptions for 259 yards with 3 scores. So, the Cowboys will have to figure out who can step it up and be a complement to Lamb going forward. They drafted Jonathan Mingo during the 2024 draft, so he's an option, but time will tell. Dallas also signed veteran wide receiver Paris Campbell, who was most recently with the Eagles, in free agency on Saturday, March 16. Campbell, 27, is a bona fide Super Bowl 59 championship, following his win with the Philadelphia Eagles. During the 2024 season, he appeared in 5 games and caught 6 passes for 30 yards and a touchdown. He spent his first 4 years in the NFL with the Indianapolis Colts. By joining the Cowboys, Campbell will play for his 4th team in the last 4 seasons and his 3rd team from the NFC East, as he spent the 2023 season with the New York Giants before heading to Philadelphia in 2024, the Dallas Cowboys stated in their announcement. Post-free agency Dallas Cowboys 7-round mock draft. With free agency all but over, the Dallas Cowboys will have their eyes set on the 2025 NFL Draft that is little over a month away. While there are still a handful of players still left in free agency that could upgrade the current Cowboys depth chart, it sure sounds like the Cowboys will focus on the draft to find starters and key contributors at certain positions from this point forward. Today we will do a 7-round mock draft to fill out this Cowboys roster. After passing on the free agent wide receiver market, the Cowboys will turn to the draft to find their WR2 behind CeeDee Lamb. While it should not shock anyone if the Cowboys elect to rely on Jalen Tolbert, Jonathan Mingo, or an uptick in KaVontae Turpin snaps to fill that role, the Cowboys should heavily consider using their 1st or 2nd round pick on a receiver in this draft. In a weaker class of receivers, this position could be one that falls a bit from what we are all used to seeing. With no consensus WR1, it should not shock anyone if only one receiver goes in the top 20. Teteroa McMillan is the likely candidate to be the first receiver drafted. Once considered a top 10 player in the class, concerns regarding McMillan's speed and versatility has seen him fall in most analysts' rankings leading up to the draft. With McMillan, Jody Barron, and Josh Simmons the candidates at 12, trading back 4 spots and picking up an additional third-round pick was the move here. Needing wide receiver and cornerback help, moving back 4 spots and selecting one of McMillan, Emeka Egbuka, or Matthew Golden was a rather easy decision. The Cowboys desperately need an X-receiver and McMillan thankfully stayed on the board until the Cowboys got on the clock. McMillan is not the twitchiest receiver in this class, but his size, length, and ball skills at the catch point make him a safe prospect in this class to play alongside CeeDee Lamb. The Cowboys did a nice job of filling their starting running back need in free agency with 2 viable backs with starting experience. Even with Javonte Williams and Miles Sanders on the roster, the Cowboys need to find a true starter in this draft class. Travion Henderson can be just that for the Cowboys. Henderson is an explosive, 3-down back that excels in the running game, passing game, and in pass protection. Henderson has the makings of being an above-average starting running back in year 1, with the ability to develop into a plus starter as early as year 2 in the right system. Henderson checks all of Brian Schottenheimer's boxes in what he looks for in running backs and would be an instant upgrade and likely starter to start the season for the Cowboys. Cowboys trade for Tyreek Hill pushed by 2 ex-NFLers. The Dallas Cowboys have the financial wherewithal to make virtually any move they wish, all by virtue of the fact that they presently have almost $40 million in cap room, a figure that puts them in the top 10 in NFL rankings. The Cowboys also, in the mind of most every observer, also have a glaring hole at the number 2 receiver spot. Dak Prescott needs another weapon and CeeDee Lamb needs a running mate. 2 former NFL guys think they have the answer. The controversial Miami Dolphins standout Tyreek Hill. Ex-NFL quarterback Kurt Benkert is essentially predicting the move, though in fairness, we don't think he has any evidence outside of his imagination to back it up. I would not be shocked, he wrote on X, to see the Dolphins trade Tyreek Hill on draft night. My ideal landing spots for him are Dallas and Baltimore. Why the Cowboys? With Dallas, he added, they get to add some firepower which they will need to compete in their division this year. It would also take eyes off of CeeDee Lamb, allowing for both of their efficiencies to go through the roof. We can't argue with much of that. Except for 3 issues. 1. We have to point out that Tyreek comes with a great deal of behavioral baggage. He's gifted, but he also manages to stay in the headlines as one of those "it's always something" kind of guys. He does seem to be a pal of Micah Parsons, so maybe there is a positive chemistry thing that can work there. 2. It can be argued that while he was once upon a time the game's most dangerous receiving weapon, Tyreek won Offensive Player of the Year in 2023, his numbers as an 8-time Pro Bowler at age 31 suggest some fading. He caught 81 passes for 959 yards and 6 TDs last year, though some might blame that on Miami's injury-related instability at QB, as Tua Tagovailoa was also only able to play in 11 games. 3. He is due to get paid $28 million this year. There is escapability in his contract after 2025, and if Miami really wants to turn the page, maybe Dallas can get the Dolphins to foot some of the bill. Cowboys fans would surely salivate at the idea of a receiving room with Hill and Lamb paired together. Frankly, such a move would give Dallas arguably the best receiving tandem in the league. But do the Dolphins want to move off of him? Outside of Tyreek making late-season noise of wanting out, which he later recanted, this seems like an idea coming from outside the buildings. Unless you count the opinion of all-time Cowboys great Emmitt Smith, who also likes the idea. Said Emmitt recently, maybe we need to go after Tyreek Hill, someone that can go down the field and give CeeDee Lamb a chance to work underneath, if you want Dallas to make a splash. That would do it. But Emmitt, who, again, is right about the Prescott-led offense needing more weaponry, may not be plugged into the specific problems with this idea. Still, The Cowboys need downfield playmaking and receivers who can create their own space to operate. Thus far, Jalen Tolbert, Jonathan Mingo and others in reserve have not shown that prowess. Maybe Hill isn't specifically the guy, but the concept in general is the right one. And you, fan? What do you think about Tyreek Hill's situation? Write to us in the comments.